Elton is one of the funniest people that I've ever met in my entire life.
It is Rod Thomas, aka Bright Light, Bright Light. How are you?
I'm very well, how are you?
Do people call you Bright Light, Bright Light? Or I suppose if you're friends with someone, they'll call you Rod. But
Oh, people call me all manner of things, I don't know.
it's quite a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's good. Make people suffer for their
Doesn't trip
art.
off the tongue, but you know.
Now, you've been back for a couple of days,
Yes.
back in London, because
Yes.
you've moved to New York.
Yes.
You've been there for 3 years.
Yes, but I've also been on the road for 3 years, so I haven't really lived anywhere. It's been kind of weird, like most of the time being in a van or sort of in a hotel room or between... I live between London and New York, really, because I'm here so much for work and for promo, and then I'm in New York to record primarily, I guess, because I've got a nice setup there and like lots of people that I collaborate with, so I'm kind of a nomad, really.
Talking of suffering for your art, there you go, is another example.
Oh, it's very hard.
Do you like that, though? Look, do you like being on the road all the time?
I like being on the road in little sections where you can use your time wisely. Because sometimes when you're on the road, you don't really get a chance to do anything productive. You know, you have like dead time of travel and you're in a hotel room, but at weird times of the day, so you don't really get to create anything new. That's the only time when it gets difficult. But actually the process of going and playing shows and seeing the world is amazing.
And New York, is that a productive place? I would imagine it's great to live there and work there as well.
It's really incredible. Like the people that are making music in New York go to each other's shows, they support each other, they help other people connect with other musicians that would benefit them, and it's a really nice network of people that want art to happen, and I think that's quite special.
And it's so brilliant that you're having more people noticing what you're doing now as well.
Yeah.
You've been working for a long time. You've been really hard working because obviously you're a songwriter as well as a performer, and you run your own label and you're kind of self-publicist. Is that quite comforting to you that it's paid off eventually, all that hard work?
I'd say paying off. I
Paying
wouldn't
off.
say that it's paid off yet.
So you're not quite where you want to be yet in terms of
I
being
don't think
noticed.
anyone ever is, I think.
That's true, actually. That's a good point.
I think it feels really, really, really amazing to have had the response that this album has already had, because it has been a lot of work and it's been a lot of fun, and it's been making stuff that I really care about and really believe in, and to have that initial reaction is really wonderful and kind of unexpected. So wherever else we go from here, I'm kind of excited to see what happens.
And it's Choreography. That's the album. Great artwork on the front as well,
Thank
the cover.
you.
Great video for the single.
you.
You were dancing in the video. Is that something that you've done before?
No.
In a video?
Never in my life.
Never seen it before?
No.
So was that a challenge that you wanted to knock on the head?
Yeah, it was. The album Choreography is basically inspired by my love of dance sequences in films. So I wanted to take some of that energy and put that into a record, and I wanted the videos to reflect that. So I worked with Stephen Hoggett, who's this award-winning choreographer.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, Harry Potter. Once, Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, loads and loads of things.
It's amazing.
But I wanted it to be very human as well, so I didn't want it to look like a flawless dance sequence that could have been done by a professional, because a lot of my favorite characters in the movies, they're not professional dancers, or their characters aren't. So for example, like one of the songs is inspired by Kim Cattrall's dance sequence in Mannequin, and the whole point is that it's a little bit goofy and it's a little bit unpolished, which is what I put into this video, all in the name. Like, I'm not supposed to look like a professional dancer. The whole point of the song is that you're trying to be the best version of yourself that you can be, so I'm not supposed to be giving a Broadway performance. It's like my version of. So I kind of relish the idea that everyone can do something that they want to do, but you don't have to be flawless, because perfection isn't charming, I don't think.
Yeah, so you're kind of making goofy cool, really, in a way.
Yeah.
Because you're embracing it, you're owning it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, we've got to say congratulations for the Hyde Park show.
Thank you, yeah.
Supporting Take That.
Mental.
That must be such a surreal thought to even just get out on the stage. I mean, I know you've played massive gigs before, but this is obviously Hyde Park. It's London where you used to live, and you still come back, every now and then. How do you overcome the nerves of getting onto the stage to perform with that, obviously knowing that you're supporting so many amazing people too?
I don't know. It's a strange experience, really, because especially something like the Hyde Park shows, because there's multiple stages and the audience, most of them are there to see Take That. Most of them are, you know, some of them are there for like the day, and they just want to be in Hyde Park and see Take That and whatever else is happening. And some don't really care about who is particularly on. They just kind of like the BST festival vibe. So it's a strange one, trying to work out whether you're actually nervous because of the pressure of opening for Take That, or if you're nervous that anyone will even care about you in the bill. That's the weirdest thing with that kind of situation, but it is so cool to get to play in Hyde Park and to be on a bill with someone like Take That when you remember reading about them in a magazine when you're a kid.
Sure.
You know, that's
And obviously
bonkers.
an inspiration.
I've met Gary. He's really, really, really nice. Their songwriting is incredible, and their live reputation is incredible. You know, they really are like one of the forefront pop bands from the UK. So that's amazing to be in the same breath as them.
I said the other massive gigs because obviously you've been on tour with Elton John.
Mm-hmm.
You performed with Elton John on Graham Norton recently,
Yeah.
which was great. You've worked with him. He's on the album. So many great collaborations on this new album too. You've got Jake Shears. You've got Matronic. How amazing is it to work with these people, because they're such credible people too. They're really good songwriters and
Yeah.
performers. Are you learning a lot from these people?
Yeah, the best thing about working with these people is that they are brilliant people. You know, my whole idea for getting them on the record is that they're friends and they're wonderful, inspiring, creative geniuses. And my album, I just wanted to be a kind of like, almost like a snapshot of like me and my friends and my insane inspirations. It just so happens that my friends are quite famous. So it was really cool. And, you know, I toured with Elton, I toured with the Scissor Sisters, and I toured with Mykal Kilgore, who's one of the other guest vocalists.
He's got a great voice.
He's got an incomparable voice. So I wanted to put them all on the record. You know, like, it makes sense when you realize the connections that we have. And then with Ahlen coming, he's in my favorite movie, Romeo and Michelle's High School Reunion, and he's a friend. So I was just like, there is no way you cannot be on the record, basically.
So can you watch him in a movie and see him in a different light now that you know him as a friend? And the same with Elton
Yeah.
John, when you watch him performing, you know, really kind of classic shows, vintage shows that he did back in the 70s. Is it quite a surreal thing to in hindsight, to know these people now?
It's a really wonderful thing because you get to see the bits of their personality in the shows that you didn't realize before, and you kind of understand the performance in a slightly different way. You know, like, Elton is one of the funniest people that I've ever met in my entire life, and so you understand like how much it would have amused him to be wearing certain things on stage, or the little winks and nods to other band members. It's just so amazing having that little privilege into that insight into that little world. Like, that's so cool.
And you were at Elton's wedding too.
Yes.
Sat on a table with Kate Bush.
Yes. And
when
Gary Barlow.
And
actually.
Gary Barlow. And when I saw the pictures, it was just, I couldn't even imagine how you must have felt being there. Not only proud to obviously be a friend and to celebrate that great day, but to be sat with Kate Bush.
Yeah, it was
So close as well. I
completely
was quite
insane.
jealous, I must admit.
I was jealous of myself. So,
Did you see her show, the Before the Dawn
Yeah.
show? It's just out of this world, wasn't it? Like nothing
It was
I've seen
amazing.
before.
I never thought that I would ever see her live, so that was obviously like an incredible part of the year. I never thought that I'd meet her, so thank you, Elton, for making that
Yeah,
happen.
that's amazing. And it was quite a spiritual thing. I mean, it's a cliche. People say that it was like a religious experience, but it did feel like nothing else before. It
I don't
was like
think
no other
I've
gig.
been to a show where there's been so much love in the room. Like, every single person wanted to enjoy that show, and that atmosphere made it just like 100 times better. It was so overwhelming, I think.
Now, I think I'm right in saying that you've broken a record for appearing on Graham Norton as the first person that's unsigned.
Yeah, I think so.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to set a precedent as well for the artists that are up and coming, the new artists that are in the same position, that maybe have been working for a long time, that are starting to get recognised and appreciated.
I really hope so. I think Paul, who's one of the bookers there, and the whole team, they are the kind of people that are looking out for unsigned people and independent artists and slightly more left of centre artists all the time. But it just depends on whether you can work that into the programming that the audience will respond well. But I think them taking a chance on me doing it worked, and I really hope that it means that they can use their creative judgment many more times in the future and get people that they really believe in on board.